Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Dream, and you are here for a sub podcast, as it were, of the It's All Good show. And when I say a sub podcast, I mean that this is a focus podcast that is all about EESystem Center owners. And I've just got a passion now for reaching out and talking to these people that are doing amazing things in their community. And that certainly fits today's conversation that I get to have with Phil Roberts. Phil is in Maiden Rock, Wisconsin. And welcome to the It's All Good show, Phil.
Well, thank you very much, Mark. It's a pleasure being on with you, and I've seen a lot of things that you've been doing and what you've done, and not only do I appreciate what I know you do, but I know I'll appreciate more as we move on and become greater friends. So yeah.
Well, it's nice. You and I have become friends through a social media group, and I've just been able to I've gotten to know you up until today in just what you choose to share and how you choose to share it. And all along, I've said to myself, that guy, Phil, I really like this guy. I want to talk to him more one day. And I thought it was just going to be a conversation outside of a whole interview process, but I love that we get to do this. You're part of the EESystem family. And as an owner, the first thing I always want to know is, how did you find out about EESystem?
So I was introduced to frequency healing and frequency energy some years ago from a friend of mine that he happened to pass away now. But he knew, he actually had Spooky 2 products, and he taught me a lot about how that all worked. And as he taught me, I looked at things and I went, that can't be real. And then when he was telling me about quantum entanglement and how we can take a fingernail and put it in here and we can treat you wherever you are in the world, I'm like, come on, really? But then an acquaintance that I met through Dr. Good Vibes was his name. A person that I met through him came to me and said, Phil, you have to check out this energy enhancement system. So I spoke to my wife and I said, hey, let's go to Michigan. They're putting on a conference there and they're showcasing the energy enhancement system, and Dr. Sandra's going to be there, and let's go and see what this is all about. So we did. We came home from that conference. I never once stepped foot in an EESystem Center, and I bought a 12. I just said, from talking to all the people, I said, this is what we need to have in our home. So we bought it. We had a theater in our home. We took all the theater equipment out. We repurposed the room into an energy room. It's soundproofed. It's a perfect room for being made up for energy. And now we invite people into our home in a home setting, and they get to come in and enjoy our home with us. We have a village here, and I'll explain that a little bit more. But yeah, everybody's just welcome. They come in, they go into our energy room. We talk, we have, we get to know people. It's a great thing.
Now you're coming up on having had the system for a year. It's coming up on a year here in May, right?
Well, no, we've actually, in May, we will have had the system about a year and a half.
Oh, okay. So before you had your public opening, you spent some time just having like friends and family or something?
Oh, well, we just listen. And I explained to you a little bit before, my son-in-law is a locked-in quad. That means that he cannot talk, he cannot move his body, but he's the happiest guy that you'll ever meet in that situation. Clayton is glad to be alive. Yeah, it's a really interesting situation. I'm actually writing a book about it called Buried Above Ground. It's how the brain works in these bizarre situations and how the brain allows us to be in that state and be happy with it and be okay and be glad to be living. And then if we look at it and we say, well, if it can be happy with that, how could we use our own brains when we aren't buried above ground to be able to do some really unique and crazy and great things? So it's just something that I'm doing because I happen to be involved in it. And as I take the energy from those situations, I put them to word, and a book's coming alive. So yeah.
So tell me, what was the first 6 months of having the system like for you? Because it hadn't been turned into a business then right away. You were just
Correct.
acclimating with the energies and the.
Yes.
Tell me about
Well,
it.
here's and I'll tell you what. So there were some either marketing groups or out there that wanted to, for money, yeah, they could market me, whatever. I didn't want any part of it because I own a different business. I don't want to be pressured into having to perform with something that I wasn't ready to perform with. I wanted to take our time. We wanted to slow walk it. We wanted to get used to the energy. We wanted to figure out how this was going to work for us and our family. We had a lot of people in need right here in our own home. So we were, in some ways, I look at it as like, okay, so we were being selfish. We were keeping it for ourselves at the time being. I didn't need to make money. I didn't do it because that was a money thing. I did it because, A, I wanted to give back to community and I wanted to have this for my family and let everybody grow throughout that whole deal. And so, we eventually got around to where we started inviting veterans to come in. We have Veterans Monday, which is free will offering. Veterans can come in and they can bring us anything from a pound of hamburger to to nothing. I actually have a customer that he comes and he brings us, he grows regenerative beef, grass fed. And so he brings us grass fed hamburger. And it's a great thing. And so we're about helping people. And, so I've always found in my years of life that if you do the right things, the money follows. You're taken care of. It all happens around you. And if you come and you visit me and you see what we've been doing and how we do it and how we're living, you'd see that it's apparently working.
Right. So tell me what you've experienced and what your family has experienced because of the EE system.
Okay. So I'm 73. Most people can't keep up with me. Okay. I get up between 4 and 6 in the morning, depending on what the day happens to be going on. I go to bed between 10 and 11 at night. I'm not tired. I don't take naps. I just, the energy enhancement system is all about that. It's about energy enhancement. It's propelled me. It's given me, there's certain things that I've had a bad back, bad hip. I'm fine now. There's just certain things that I don't doctor well. We just don't do that type of medicine. I'm very good friends with my doctor, but I don't listen to him. Only because I choose to do my own research. I choose to find my own alternative methods, and I'm still here and I'm doing very well. And so, like my father passed away at 93, and he wasn't into all the alternative stuff, but he still made it to 93. And it's like, okay, well, we're going to be here for a while. So it's, as you would say, it's all good.
It is all good. Love it. Now, have you noticed significant changes, like in Clayton or any other family members, with the
Clayton
system?
now, Clayton now has movement in his left side where he can move and use a computer switch with his left hand, so he can now communicate with a computer and he can type out sentences. The hardest thing for Clayton right now is what would be termed patience. Most people don't have time for Clayton to sit and type sentences to communicate. And too many people in that situation, it gets a little frustrating for Clayton because it takes a while for him to communicate in that fashion. So sometimes when people don't have the patience, it's difficult for him to communicate, but he knows that things are happening. He knows he has plans. He's going to be walking again. Okay. This is Clayton. He envisions it. He says, I'm going to walk again. So we're going to see. We don't know. It's with the stroke that he had and his impairments, it takes time, and he gets it. He's okay. And so we're going to work through it. Now, my daughter Lisa, she has cerebral palsy. She walks with arm crutches. She's had a lot of really good things happen with her. And all of it is working towards a positive. We have customers that come in that we had one gal. She came. She's going to come back here shortly, but she's quit for a few months because she's feeling so good. But when she first came, she said, after the third session, she said, Phil, I have to tell you this. She said, I don't like to talk on the phone, and I very rarely smile. When I come into the EE room, I leave, I smile all week. And her husband is like, yep, she does. And then I'll call her on the phone and she can't be quiet. She just keeps rattling on, and her husband's like, she never talked on the phone before. So a lot of this is just an example of how things change in people and how they feel the energy and how it brings goodness to them.
Now, tell us about the community that you're in. You're in Maiden Rock, Wisconsin.
Correct.
I take it it's not a very large community.
We live in the country. So our
Okay.
nearest neighbor is like an 1/8 mile on one side, a 1/4 mile on the other. Everything behind us is farm fields, and so we're in the countryside. The smallest, or the town near us is small. It's got a population of 500. But we're an hour from the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul. There's a lot of people from the city that live out here. There's a lot of people that understand alternative methods, understand alternative energies. There's a lot of people that don't. And so in the beginning, we've just kind of slow walked this thing because we didn't want to walk into a situation where we're trying to get people to do something they're not comfortable with. Okay. We knew it was going to take some time, and we're okay with that. We have time. And if you try to pressure people into things that they're not comfortable with or they don't feel, they're in sync with, yeah, it's a bad idea. So we're educating people. I'm meeting with people all the time. We're right now, and we'll talk more about this because we're looking at putting on a conference here in our area, and we want to do it outside of Red Wing, Minnesota. There's a big Indian reservation with a very large casino atmosphere there. And it's not about the casino. It's about they have great amenities to be able to put on a very nice conference. And so we're planning this, and we're putting a lot of things together, and there's, yeah, we we want to bring it in a big time fashion, and get people more associated with what we're doing and what's happening, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Excellent. So, how do people find out about your center? I mean, I know it's in your home. So, how do people find
Okay,
out?
so my daughter Lisa, the one with cerebral palsy, she does social media. She's our social media expert. Um, And so she does our Facebook, she does our Instagram, she does all those different things. She does all kinds of posting. We own and operate the local town's website. It's called Plum City Pages. So plumcitypages.com. We created that website for our local town. My daughter administers it. She administers the website for another local town called Maiden Rock. She also built the website for another small town called Stockholm, Wisconsin. Um, and so she knows how to do all this stuff. And we've been in this community owning another business for 40 years. So everybody kind of knows us. And now, do they totally know what we do? No, they don't. Um, and but it's just we're growing with it. We're bringing people on board. We're teaching people how all this good energy can be good for the human body, and what it does, and how it works, and yeah, it's really a good thing.
Now, before we started the recording, you and I had a chance to chat a little bit, which I
Yeah.
really appreciated. You've got a philosophy perspective about the healing process. You've been working with frequencies and this and that. Kind of bring us into Phil's world with all of this.
Okay, so we did a lot of studying, and gentleman by the name of Lester Levinson, um, and another gentleman by the name of Larry Crane, with the release technique. It was also called the Sedona method, for releasing negative energy. And so that brought me to this place of B. Okay. I use a word B, B-E. That word is my place of sanctity. Everybody could use a place that they can go to at any point by triggering with just a word. I use the word be. When I say the word be, it's like my whole body just flushes puts me in a neutral state. It puts me in the EE room. It just gives me that full clarity to where I can just allow the negative energy to move away, and I can become neutral. I can allow life to be perfect as it is right at this moment. Now, when I go to that place, and see, I look at God as behind the brain. It's on the other side of the brain. It's not in the brain, it's on the other side. And so that's my place of sanctity. I just go to be, and whether it's for a second, for a minute, for 5 minutes, for whatever time we have to just be in that quiet space, it allows us to clear ourselves and become neutral to where we can re-engage in a very focused manner, because we know that when we're clear, we re-engage and we create, and we're much better. So I just use that with people, and I talk to people about how, we can get into that state. And as we learn how to do that, we heal much better, because once we clear ourselves of negative energies, we allow the good energies to come in. And so, yeah, it's a cool deal.
I
So
love that, and it makes a difference. It makes a big difference. Now, you mentioned the spooky, which is a Rife inspired frequency
right,
device. You've got
yes,
the 12 unity system, which
yeah.
some of my favorite. I've been to 38 centers all around the country, and two of my favorites are 12 unit EESystem centers. So I love that you've got that. What else do you offer? What other tools are you incorporating or integrating together?
Well, mostly we use the EE system as a place to restore energy. We use the Spooky 2 equipment as a way to apply unique frequency to the body for different modalities, for different things that we can, once we track and we figure out by doing a biofeedback scan or whatever, and we find out what things are happening with the body, then we can actually apply frequency that affects that particular thing. It gets more specific. Spooky is more of a specific frequency generator, where energy enhancement system is more of an all-around energy provider to recharge the cell, to get it in a place to where when we apply specific frequency, it has a better effect.
Excellent, excellent. Now, the AO scan, you mentioned you have this. Is that play a little bit of a diagnostic role?
Well, in terminology of equipment like that, they really shy away from that word.
Whoops.
Only because, let's just say, the medical profession looks down on people that claim to be diagnosing. No, it's not a diagnostic at all. What it does is it gives examples of what could be going on with the body. And as you do different scans with the AO scan, it may provide you information that you can look further into to see if that resonates. And so, yeah, it's a guidance tool that puts you in an area to have an idea of what could be, where you need to look to see how frequencies should be provided to be able to help that area of the body.
Okay, excellent. I appreciate you fine-tuning that for me. Tell me, how is your EE system room laid out?
Okay, so we have 3 screens in each corner of the room. Because it was a theater prior and we repurposed it into an energy room, we have 8 recliners in the room that we've sort of redesigned a little bit. We also have a bed in there so you can sleep in that room. It's a queen bed, and it's a mattress that actually sits on a pedestal, because it's hard to explain that, but how we redesigned and put the recliners. But it's a very comfortable room. We've got a large screen TV that we just put for pictures and for things to be on the screen, nature, meditation things. A person can put music on it if they care to. We kind of don't promote people going in there to just watch TV. Right. Because I personally don't have much time for it, meaning watching TV itself. I'm either in a state of meditation or I'm working on something.
Right. Right.
Yeah. And it's all cool because that's what God put me here for. And yeah, he chose me to be working with people in the healing modalities of what we do with life. And I learned a long time ago to probably accept what he chose me to do, because fighting it doesn't work so good.
There you go.
So we've just gotten on with it, and it's all good. So
it's all good. There it is again. It's all good. Now tell me, the name of your center is About Time Wellness Retreat.
Correct.
And the logo looks like a cross.
It is.
Okay.
And we are a faith-based organization. We are a nonprofit. And, we set this all up to be able to help people in the best ways. And we also set it up to be able to raise money to help even more people. So it's tax deductible to entities that do invest in us to help others.
Fabulous.
And so, it's part of the vision of what we're doing, and we're not there yet. And but we will be. Yeah, we're enjoying it.
I love that. Now, as we're nearing the end of our conversation, is there anything that we haven't talked about that, or I haven't asked, or anything that you'd like to add?
Well, we're just out here and helping to educate people about what energy really does, who we are. We also talk to people about the fear of dying. Okay. It's what enslaves all of us. When we fear dying, and when we look at society, there's how many times a year do they come out with something else that we should fear? And oh my gosh, you need to fear the bumblebee coming up from South America because you might die. And so when we get over the idea of us dying, because we are all energy, and energy does not dissipate. We can't make it. We can't get rid of it. I mean, we're energy, and so we lose this carcass, but we don't. Our energy goes on to do something. The cool thing is God doesn't let us know quite what that is, but we all have imaginations, and we're doing something. So there is no death. Death of the body, but not death of the soul. And God told us that we are eternal, and we're just, for some of us that are slow learners, we're just figuring that out.
Well, Bill, I have to say that my intuition about you was spot on. And what we talked about before we started recording and what's made its way into this conversation is really a testimonial to who you are. And I appreciate you sharing that with all of us. I appreciate the role that you've taken on. And God doesn't give us more than what we can handle. You have been put in a position many times to be the strength, to be the rock. And so it just makes all the sense in the world that you've got, the About Time Wellness Retreat Center there, and that you're holding down that energy. I look forward to meeting you in person one day.
We will.
Until then, just consider this a big virtual hug. I appreciate you. I appreciate all that you're doing. And there's a certain very comfortable, grounded, balanced energetic to you that inspires me to be more like that. And so, just in my own world, I may
careful what you wish for.
I listen. I'm feeling pretty safe with this one, but I appreciate your time today and everything that you're doing. We'll put wherever we post this, we'll put your website so people can reach out and contact you. Now, how far are you again from the Twin Cities?
We're at 1 hour.
1 hour. Okay.
We're 50 some miles.
All right.
And so it's not far. And when people get here, they're just so comfortable. Yeah. It's
nice to get out of the city, and it sounds like you got a lovely environment there.
We do. And so we're blessed with it. And we have alpacas and goats and it's just a cool environment. They bless us here.
Well, I'm looking forward to coming out there. Maybe as you get closer to putting that conference together,
Yes.
you'll give me a heads up, and who knows, maybe it'll be that, maybe it'll be sooner. But again, thank you for being a guest on the It's All Good show and sharing what you do and how you do it, and we'll stay in touch with you. Many blessings
Well,
to you, Phil.
thank you very much, Mark. I really appreciate it, and great day.
Thank you.